Congress NDC is marking the 44th anniversary of the June 4, 1979 uprising at Hohoe in the Volta region. Now, the choice of Hohoe is strategic as it is the only constituency in the Volta region which is held by the governing New Patriotic Party (NPP) after the December 2020 polls. Several NDC dignitaries, including 2024 flag bearer and former President John Dramani Mahama, are attending the event. Now, the 2023 celebration is on the theme Saving Our Democracy, the spirit of the June 4th. We'll bring you shortly the speech of NDC 2024 Black Flag Bearer John Dramani Mahama.
In our country's history, perhaps comes only second to the day our dear nation became independent. The iconic revolutionary and statesman Jerry John Rawlings led a group of determined military officers to stage a popular uprising that would alter the course of our nation's history. We mark this milestone today in the solemn but deeply regrettable knowledge that the inspiration behind this epochal event, Jerry John Rawlings, rests with his maker, having departed this earth almost 3 years ago. Professor John Evans, with him in eternal rest are many comrades with whom we shared the reality of the struggle to rebuild our country over many decades. Professor John Evans Atamils, Kwesi Bekwe Emisarata, Captain Kojo Chikata, Justice D.F. Anand, P.V. Obeng, Professor Kwesi Botre, Professor Kofi Awono, Madam Ama Benyua Do, Mr. Harry Sawyer, Dr. Mary Grant, D.S. Boateng, Captain Clem Sou, and a host of other stalwarts of the revolution are no longer with us today. May God bless their memory and give them peaceful rest in his bosom. The mortal journeys of these personalities may have ended, but their memories and the works for which they live will continue with us for generations to come. May their souls and those of all our departed comrades find eternal rest in heaven. At that tumultuous moment, when the June 4 uprising occurred, we had fallen from our position as the bright light of Africa, a newly independent nation with big and noble aspirations, and had become one ravaged by economic disaster, institutional decay, corruption, and utter despondency. Unmet expectations, severe economic hardships, and general misrule created a climate within which Ghanaians yearned for a radical change of the status quo. It was little wonder, therefore, that when Jerry John Rawlings burst onto the scene and offered a pivot around which such change could be realized, he garnered general support from the broad masses of our people who were willing to put their shoulders to the wheel and reset our country. Such was the poignancy of June 4th that it served as a reference point for subsequent events in our country. It signaled the desire by the people of Ghana to do things differently and to hold to account those whose misrule had brought our dear nation to its knees. A few years after the events of June 4th, President Rawlings was back at the helm of affairs in the early 1980s. And with unique and effective leadership, he harnessed the collective efforts and sacrifice of patriotic men and women bound by the spirit of comradeship and the singular objective of lifting our country out of the doldrums.
We'll bring you more details from the 44th anniversary of the June 4 uprising in subsequent bulletins. Let's head to the north now. And the Gonja Traditional Council has indicated it will hold an emergency Traditional Council meeting to find a roadmap to the land dispute. A clash this week between Gonjas and Mamprisis at Lukula and Mimpasem in the North Gonja district of the Savannah region led to one death and destruction of property. The recent clash, which happened on Thursday, June 1, claimed one life in the entire Lukula community, totally burnt. 3 persons who sustained gunshot wounds were arrested in that incident, and this led to the youth of Daboya vandalizing the Daboya police station. 118 residents were arrested by police and sent to the Northern Regional Police Command for screening. Well, Christopher Marco, our correspondent, joins me for more details. Now, Christopher, good afternoon. Now, you've been to the area. What is the atmosphere there currently?
Yes, so Judith, life is gradually returning to the Lukula and Mimpiasam communities because those who earlier fled the community are beginning to return to the community for their farming activities. So police patrols has also been intensified in the area to ensure that the people live in peace. So everything is now gradually coming back to normal.
Well, the two sides have coexisted peacefully for a while now. How concerned is the Gonja Traditional Council about this clash?
Judith, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm saying that the two sides have coexisted peacefully for a while now. So how concerned is the Gonja Traditional Council about this clash?
The Gonjas and the Mamprisis over the years have coexisted peacefully.
Right.
And the Mamprisis are residing on some portions of Gonja land, that is the Lukula and Mimpiasam area, which they have lived there over the years. So for the Gonja Traditional Council, this particular incident is condemnable, and that the Yagbongra and the king of the Mamprugu kingdom, Nasherga Mahmi Abdullah, will be holding traditional talks to ensure that the issues surrounding the Lukula and Mimpiasem lands are addressed amicably. And for them, life must return to the area and people must go about their normal activities.
Right. Now, you spoke to the spokesperson of the King of Gonja Kingdom. What has been him saying?
Yeah, so his what he has been saying is that the King of Gonja, Yagbonmura Bikunuto Jewuswale the first, is not happy about what is happening because Gonjas are known to be peace-loving people, and they have over the years accommodated their neighbors. And he has been commenting on the emergency meeting that the Gonja Traditional Council will be holding. Let's take a listen to him.
The King of Gonja is not happy. This unfortunate has happened. We have lived in harmony with Mamprusi, live in harmony with the police in Gonja traditional area, being the district or any other traditional area. But unfortunately, this didn't happen, and the Yegora is doing his best, calling all those stakeholders within his jurisdiction, those who matter, to be able to go deep down, talk to the security personnel to calm down, the youth to calm down, so that at the end of it all, some of this thing shouldn't happen any longer in Gonja land. He is pleading with the security. They should slow down. We are not saying we haven't caused or they haven't caused any harm. But in any case, we are talking to them to calm down. But if you cease fire a little, the way they are moving, we are pleading with them. We'll be talking to the youth to also rescind their decision and not even to do those in any longer. They shouldn't do that. By next week, we'll be organizing a traditional council meeting. And during that period, we'll have summoned all the traditional chiefs around, the council of elders, and other stakeholders in the Gonja traditional area. Then there we'll take the matter up and see the way forward.
Right now, Christopher, some youth in Daboya attacked the police station after the clashes. What has been the Gonja Youth Association? What have they been saying?
Yes, so the Gonjaland Youth Association have been engaging the youth in Daboya. Yesterday, I was in Daboya when they came, and they have visited the chief's palace to interact with the chief and tell him the roadmap that they will be adopting to ensure that they organize some meetings with the youth to discuss some of these issues with them. They also have described the incident as unfortunate and that the necessary authorities should ensure that the right things are done. Let's take a listen to the secretary of the Gonjaland Youth Association, Felicia Praja.
It's unfortunate, but it has happened. So what we need to do is to take it upon ourselves. As leaders, what we do, we realize that we need to do a lot of sensitization, which we really intend to do. The youth need to realize that the future is ours, and we need to protect it. So definitely, the leadership of Gonjaland Youth Association will surely do something about that. We will go around, let our colleagues know that we need to protect our kingdom and protect whatever we have as a people.
Right, thank you very much. And that was my colleague, Christopher Amwako, giving us more details on that. We'll certainly bring you details in our subsequent bulletins. But let's head back to the 44th anniversary of the June 4th uprising.
As we face an incumbent that is hell-bent on maintaining the status quo so that they can continue to better their circumstances and amass undeserved wealth at the expense of the Ghanaian people. We are responsible for organizing and letting our message of hope reach everyone across the length and breadth of our land, that the dark days will last only for a moment more, and that a new dawn is lurking on the horizon. And that when that new dawn breaks, the governmental rot, the economic hardships, and the insensitivity to the plight of the people, and the offensive corruption and waste of the people's resources will be a thing of the past. To the millions of young Ghanaians out there for whom affording 1 meal a day is a very serious challenge, and for whom leaving this country in droves, even at the peril of their lives, is a preferred option. To the thousands of business people whose businesses face ruin because of the gross mismanagement of this economy, I urge you not to despair. There is hope on the horizon. I look forward with hope that the day is coming when a new paradigm shift is going to occur. Your help would, however, be required in order to achieve this endeavor. Do not allow those who have made life difficult for you all these years to mislead you with hollow sloganeering and shallow populism. Please do not allow them to convince you that you must vote for them in 2024 because of your origin or your family ties. The suffering and pain of the last 7 years have not discriminated along ethnic, tribal, religious, or sectarian lines. There should be sufficient basis to work towards a change that helps reset our country and build the Ghana we all want together. It must be a change that will afford you a shot at fulfilling your aspirations and realizing your dreams in your own country. As heirs of the revolution in the NDC, we have no choice but to offer dedicated leadership for this effort. We dare not fail, for to do so would mean to condemn our people who look towards us with hope to further suffering and pain under a party and government whose only intent for annexing power is to guarantee their creature comforts and open the public purse for systematic looting, abuse, and pillaging. Ladies and gentlemen, in government we must be different from what the NPP has been. We must set a new standard in governance so that Ghanaians will appreciate that we are not condemned as a people to live with this level of greed and impunity. I hear people say we must come to power and also exact our pound of flesh. But as the inheritors of the spirit of June 4th, I dare say we cannot become a copy of the NPP, or else Ghanaians would have lost all hope of salvation. Let us all be guided by our history as a nation and do the things that are necessary to restore hope and confidence in our increasingly despondent people. That this democratic experiment we embarked on in 1992 is the most effective means of achieving national progress and development.
Let's move on to some more stories. And the Afenya-Apollonia Road is no longer motorable. The craters formed along the parts of the stretch accumulate large volumes of water during the rainy season, hindering the movement of road users. Now the report here by Peter Kwao Adato.
The Afenya-Apollonia Road connects the Accra-Akonsombo Road and the Dodowa Road through the Kpong-Katamanso district. According to locals, the road could reduce some of the typically congested vehicular traffic between Afenya and the Ashaiman roundabout because it is a shortcut to Accra through Oyibi. However, the dreadful condition of the road forces everyone to remain glued and endure the unbearable traffic every day on the Akonsombo Road. The more than a kilometer section of the Afenya New Jerusalem Road is the worst part of the stretch. Craters formed along the entire stretch, preventing all vehicles except the heavy-duty trucks carrying construction materials from passing. Even just crossing the community from one end to the other is really challenging for the residents.
For about 2-3 days, the children will not be able to go to school. You cannot move from left to the right side of the road or from the right side to the left side of the road. And moreover, when there's an emergency, one of our neighbors died because he had pressure and the nature of the road before they got to the hospital, even to the junction, he passed away.
And when you try and drive through, you will damage your sump. This is a road that when this road is working all right, it will reduce most of the traffic. Those who are going to 37 Medina, they can also pass here.
All business operations are significantly impacted.
When you come and open shop, nobody will come and buy because the road is not good. People are not coming to site. Please, we are begging you people, you have been traveling outside and you see how that place is. Look at our road. And you say we are building cathedral. Cathedral for who? We are not animals. We are also human beings. At least think of us small. What is this?
This road's condition defies description. Every trip requires a visit to the mechanic and the high cost of replacement parts. My swift intervention saved the life of a pregnant woman who was in labor here a few weeks ago. Our demand to the government must be heard, and the road needs to be fixed immediately.
This motorist was making use of the highway for the first time. He was fortunate to have encountered Daniel Asante, who gave him directions on how to bypass the community and connect to the road in the Kpong-Katamanso district.
If you can go straight, that's fine. Yeah. You turn to where the Naki pharmacy is here. We have a bypass over there. That will take you all the way to where the store is. Absolutely. Then you can continue.
This second driver was not lucky. Although he was weaving his way through, this was the extent of his fortitude. He was aided in his escape by the reverse gear, and he needed direction to locate a route through the neighborhood to reach the Kpong-Katamanso district. The only vehicles that could navigate the stretch of road are trucks, even if it has negative consequences. They want the road fixed so that everything can return to normal. The district chief executive for Ningo Prampram, Al Atif Tete Amano, acknowledged the condition of the road but promised to respond to our inquiries after receiving a briefing from the Department of Urban Roads, which was tasked with making an assessment.
Now, away from roads, lawyer for the 9 CSOs who took action over the forced leave of former Auditor General Daniel Yao Domelevo says he fears losing the case. The Supreme Court last week described the forced leave directive from the president as unconstitutional. In the following report, my colleague Noble Crosby-Annan digs up the history of the issue and various responses to the Apex Court's ruling.
It became the talk of town 3 years ago. 3 years after, it still is. On June 29, 2020, President Akufo-Addo directed the then Auditor General, Daniel Domelevo, to proceed on his accumulated annual leave of 123 working days. The number of days eventually increased to 167. The President's decision to ask the Auditor General to take his leave is said to be based on Sections 21 and 31 of the Labour Act 2003, 651. The request of the Auditor General to proceed on leave was seen by many as an attempt to kick the Auditor General out over his resolve to surcharge officials, including top appointees like the then Senior Minister Yawo Safo-Mafo. Indeed, some civil society organizations raised concerns of a possible scheme to push him out. But in all of this, the Auditor General did not go without a fight. The Auditor General Daniel Domelevo asked President Akufo-Addo to reconsider his directive for him to proceed on his accumulated leave. According to him, although he was aware that his work was embarrassing the government, the directive from the President had serious implications on the constitutional independence of the office of the Auditor General. Daniel Domelevo was not alone in this fight. About 435 civil society organizations launched a campaign to put pressure on the presidency to rescind its decision to compel the Auditor General to proceed on leave. The coalition of CSOs believe the President's directive to the Auditor General, who is reputed as a staunch anti-graft campaigner, flouts the spirit and letter of the 1992 Constitution.
The manner in which the questions regarding Mr. Domelevo's date of birth, which formed the recent basis for the President's letter, were not handled in accordance with the constitutional directive in Article 23. The coordinated actions of the Office of the President and the Audit Service Board Chair on this matter further confirms our belief that Mr. Domelevo has been unfairly targeted.
Although the CSOs were confident that the President will heed their call to return the Auditor General to office, that did not happen, as Johnson Ekwuamu-Asiedu was sworn in as new Auditor General in November 2021. Some 9 civil society groups in Ghana, before that, sued government over its directive to the Auditor General to proceed on leave. They contended that the directives were unlawful since the President does not have the power to exercise such disciplinary control over independent bodies. After close to 3 years, the Supreme Court, in a unanimous decision, described as unconstitutional the directive from the presidency that asked the former Auditor General Daniel Domelevo to proceed on leave. The court also described as unconstitutional the President's appointment of an acting Auditor General, while there was a substantive Auditor General, as equally unconstitutional. Lawyer for the 9 CSOs, Martin Kpebu, says it was a difficult case to win.
This is a very tough case, really tough. I mean, to be very honest with you, it was a case I was really scared that, look, we could lose it. Hey,
you were scared that you could lose the case?
Yeah.
Why?
Extremely. It's against the President frontally. Sure, don't play at all.
The man at the center of all of this, the former Auditor General Daniel Domelevo, lauded the Supreme Court's ruling.
Never again do I think it will happen. Since the Supreme Court has decided on it, it is an abuse of executive power, especially when it is expressly stated what must be done.
The co-chair of one of the 9 CSOs, the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, Adam Senanu, says The ruling by the Supreme Court is a clear indication that the executive arm of government cannot interfere in the affairs of independent state institutions.
It's a win for Ghana in terms of the separation of powers and the balance of powers in order to make sure that this country can run well.
But former MP for Akwatia, Baba Jamal, wanted more.
I thought that the Supreme Court should have gone a step further by making some consequential orders. Because if Domlebo has lost the opportunity to come back, what is his compensation for that? And you see, they've declared the appointment of his deputy, Esielu also, as unconstitutional. What is the effect of that?
Associate Professor of the Ghana School of Law, Professor Kojo Piejeyetua, says the Supreme Court should have acted timeously.
The court could have acted timeously and they could have made a decision earlier, because this is a decision that was time-bound. And in such situations, the court has the right to the power to determine that these other cases can be suspended while such cases are dealt with as a matter of urgency.
On the back of the criticisms of the Supreme Court over some decisions made, presidential staffer Dennis Miracle-Zabuaji says the reception that has greeted this latest Supreme Court ruling should be repeated with other rulings of the Apex Court.
We should allow the Supreme Court to do their work. There are days that they will take decisions in your favor. There are days that they will take decisions against you. But at all times, let us protect the sanctity, the dignity, and integrity of the Supreme Court. It is okay if you have a one line that says, I disagree with the Supreme Court. There's nothing wrong with it. But immediately we move into the arena of trying to denigrate them because they have taken a decision that we don't agree with. Then we are causing problems for ourselves and even causing credibility crisis.
However, Baba Jamal disagreed.
Criticizing the Supreme Court after a decision is part and parcel of development of law.
With this precedent, it appears future Auditor Generals are safer.
Now, Member of Parliament for Ewutu Senya West in the Central Region, Gisela Tete, has registered her displeasure over the deplorable nature of the road leading to Agenda 111 Hospital project in the district.
Work on the Agenda 111 project in the Ewutu Senya West is progressing steadily. The project is expected to be completed in December this year. However, the road leading to the project site is in a deplorable state. The Member of Parliament for the area, Gisela Tete, though expressed satisfaction over the progress of work so far, decried the state of the road.
Because if something happens on the Trans-West African Highway and people have to be ferried in an ambulance, they'll prefer to go to Winneba because the road is better. And yet there will be a facility right here. Instead of having to refer patients from Bojasi to Swedru, they can now refer from Bojasi here to this district hospital, which is the right thing because in the same district. So I'll plead with the government to look at this road also that connects from Awutu to Obrache so that the connection is complete.
A senior construction manager for Bulldogs Limited, Wilhelm Sonica, assured the Ewutu Senya West Agenda 111 project will be completed on schedule.
We've been given up to 30th December, that is the end of this year, to complete. It's doable. We are only praying that the government and all stakeholders will do their part. With respect to payment and then with respect to other things that go into the project.
Now, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, and some partners have met with stakeholders to educate them on some disaster preventive measures. Now, the meeting, which was held in Accra, attributed most disasters to improper waste management, hence cautioning the populace to adhere to proper ways of disposing waste.
The organization has, since the June 3rd disaster, held several meetings highlighting its vision to enhance the capacity of society to prevent and manage disasters, improve the livelihoods of the victims and vulnerable in the country. The Director for National Disaster Management Organization, Reverend Daniel Odei Apia, called on the general public to support the cause.
We have a mandate to also mobilize resources from governmental and non-governmental organizations to undertake a useful program like this one. we are appealing to people to come to their aid.
As the country has recently experienced a number of earth tremors which could lead to disasters, a representative from United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization shared some precautionary measures.
If the earth shakes and we are outside, we are not indoors, the best thing to do is to move to an open space, not closer to a building. If you're indoors, the best thing is to drop down on all four, your knee and your palms on the ground. You then cover your head, because the head is a very important part. And by dropping down, you are also protecting your chest area, which has the heart.
The National Disaster Management Organization envisions building a disaster-resilient country.
You're watching Midday Live. We'll be back with more stories. Do stay.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena mi ankasa me period na se problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me mogam no mo hwe bibia na so mo medu a me fire no ene ma won kra me enu foforo kwa na me kwan mu a eba head everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you of Acrobato. Hello hey ohwehwe what che okay a free bra wo di end point wa dance am me call you no me Johnson sema na enkoyie person na my nyina na magina sebema na me be fie for there e ho na nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
When it comes to the world of sports, what does complete mean to you?
When my team scores at the end of a 30-plus passing sequence, you know, just like Pep Guardiola style.
When someone beats the buzzer with a shot from the logo, like Steph Curry.
Dominating opponents and punching my waist to a knockout like Africa's greatest boxer, Azuma Nelson.
Running so fast that I can afford to celebrate midway through a 100-meter race and smash the world record like Usain Bolt.
Hold up, what makes all of these sports complete is the screen. This is where you get access to all the extensive highlights, analysis, and insights. So do join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. live on 3FM 92.7 as we serve you the best sports buffet and most satisfying in the sports world. The 3 Sports team will come together to review, preview, and analyze the latest in the sports world here on Sports Ultras.
Ladies, it's been a year already.
Yes, I know, right? Time flies so fast.
Yes, it does. But I must say, it's been an amazing year of goodness. And that is an understatement. This year promises to be particularly exciting, as I'm told. It comes with its own excitements, twists, and turns.
Yes, every year. The show goes a notch up as we have beautiful, intelligent, and confident women stepping up for the crowd.
Of course, Ghana's Most Beautiful never disappoints. From zero to hero, your life changes. And this year, the search for a new queen has begun. Don't miss the chance of becoming the next Ghana's Most Beautiful Queen. Join the audition train starting the 15th of June in Tamale at the Garba Lodge Hotel. The train will be in Kumasi on the 17th of June at the Micklin Hotel.
Then the train passes through to Takoradi on the 20th of June at the Rainbow Hotel.
Finally, it stops in Accra on the 23rd of June at the premises of TV3.
Come audition wearing your finest GTP miniskirt and a white tank top.
Who becomes the next queen? Is it you?
Or you?
Or maybe you? Ghana's Most Beautiful? Ghana's Beauty? Africa's Pride.
The fishing industry in Ghana is of prime importance to the economy and the well-being of the people. Sadly, this critical industry faces a hidden threat that threatens its very existence and survival. Join us as we shine our spotlight on the canker of illegal fishing, a practice that has devastated our marine resources, depleting our fish stock, leaving our fishermen with empty nets, fish processors struggling to survive, and our communities in dire straits. We delve into safe fish handling and processing, certification and licensing schemes. We focus our sharp lenses on child labor and trafficking in fishing communities to demand accountability and responsiveness from duty bearers. Join 3 Foundations advocacy for Ghana's fisheries recovery through missions compelling and captivating advocacy. Keep an eye out on TV3. This program is under the auspices of the Feed the Future Ghana Fisheries Recovery Activity, funded by USAID, from the American people, live on News 360 and across all Media General social media platforms.
Are you into a small-scale enterprise? Do you want to boost your sales? Do you want to shine your hustle? Then register now to be a part of the annual TV3 SME Fair and Funding Summit 2023, happening from the 7th to 11th June 2023 at the Junction Mall, Nungwa. This time is going to be bigger and better, with a lot of fun engagement and activities like free social media marketing, training access to funding support for your business, live interviews, dance contests, sing-alongs, kids special playground on Saturday, Java sessions, fashion night, giveaways, and many more. Remember, it's from Wednesday 7th June to Sunday 11th June from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day. For enquiries and registration, call 0541 159 715 or 0554 049 778. TV3 SME Fair and Funding Summit, growing your business.
Welcome back. Now, the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice wants the government to prioritize the needs of female headquarters, also known as Kayaye. Commissioner of Shraj, Joseph Wutal, says the government's seeming neglect does not augur well for Ghana's commitment to safeguarding basic human rights.
For many years, the southern part of the country has witnessed droves of young teenage girls, mainly from the northern part of the country, with the sole aim to work as head porters. Lack of job opportunities, access to good health care, education, among others, remain major factors for such migration.
I'm looking at development from the perspective of sustainable development. Is it sustainable for them to come, work, and go back? Go back, and what do they do with their lives after? Why don't we create an environment that will make them grow up there, work there, and keep themselves there?
The Commissioner is also of the view that government must provide a short-term solution.
Those who are here are already here. And it's not enough to also just say, this is what I want to do with them. Can you work out possible solutions to their matters with them, so that you appreciate how they can? Some may want to do microcredit when they go back. Can they get some credit? Some may want to do certain things, even resettlement at other places. They may not want the normal hustle and bustle of the city.
Some of the Kayaye who were brought together for a health screening exercise by the Commission as part of activities to mark the Commission's 30th anniversary expressed some concerns.
Most of us hardly go to the hospital when we are not well. We just buy drugs. So we are grateful for this intervention.
We are sleeping outside. We don't have a room to sleep. And you know, by this time there is mosquitoes around everywhere. So even if they treat them once, we are still going back to where we are staying. And
we don't have place to sleep. So we are pleading or asking government to get a comfortable place for us so that you can be hiding ourselves while working small, carrying our kayaye.
Now, the Ghana National Association of Alternative Dispute Resolution Practitioners is asking government to invest in private alternative dispute resolution to create a robust legal regime for dispute settlement. President of the group, Daniel Owusu-Kranting, was speaking at the 10th conference in ADHR in Accra.
Alternative Dispute Resolution, or ADR, gives parties in dispute the opportunity to work through disputed issues with the help of a neutral third party. It is generally faster and less expensive than going to court. Practitioners at the conference raised issues over the long, cumbersome court processes which can span several years before judgment is given. President of the Ghana National Association of Alternative Dispute Resolution Practitioners, Daniel Owusu-Kranting, said government must ease congestion at the court by investing in ADR.
That is also not promoting peace. So when people have dispute and they know that going to court can be expensive and can delay, they resolve the issue through violence. And that doesn't promote peace in our country. The judicial service itself accepts the fact that the courts are seriously congested, placing a lot of pressure on judges. ADR can resolve a lot of the issues easily.
A justice of the Court of Appeal, Her Ladyship, Justice Margaret Welborn, explained that practitioners must create awareness of the nature of ADR's procedure in order to attract the interest of the general public and the business community. Meanwhile, Ghana has been urged to invest in alternative dispute resolution.
We have a lot of cases at the court pending litigation. A typical example, a land case which has taken over 40 years to be resolved. So far as ADR brings about win-win, which nobody loses, that would be the best option to be adopted in a developing country like Ghana.
Let's do some stories on health now. And drone delivery of crucial medications remain a top priority. That's according to the Ministry of Health. Deputy Minister of Health Mahama Saini stated lives had been saved as a result of the intervention. He was speaking during a visit together with the U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Virginia Palmer, to the zipline hub at Omenako in the Eastern region.
The use of drones in medical service delivery was introduced in Ghana 4 years ago. The use of medical drones became prominent as vaccines were delivered in real time to the remotest parts of Ghana. Until recently, access to medication or vaccines had been hampering quality healthcare delivery in rural Ghana. The Deputy Health Minister, Mahama Saini, observed that the emergence of drone service delivery has changed the face of healthcare in Ghana.
Infants who were formerly at danger of dying from preventable infections are now flourishing, and mommies who face the life-threatening difficulties during delivery are getting emergency medical treatment without being referred to other facilities on the grounds of non-availability of medical products. Consider a situation in which our farmers, regardless of their location, can acquire critical agricultural inputs quickly and efficiently.
The U.S. Ambassador to Ghana said the United States will continue to support initiatives that protect human lives.
The United States government is working with you to build on these successes. These efforts bolster our significant bilateral assistance to improve access to quality healthcare systems and services for all Ghanaians, U.S. support for commercial projects, U.S. grants for infrastructure, and of course bilateral health assistance all reinforce one another.
To date, Zipline has completed 370,000 deliveries of medical products to more than 2,700 health facilities throughout the country.
Now, the University of Ghana has benefited from a 100,000 cedis fund to support the institution's one laptop per child policy for needy students. Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Nanaba Pia-Amfo, says the support from the bulk oil storage and transportation bust will go a long way to diversify teaching and learning.
The University of Ghana's One Student, One Laptop program is an initiative of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Nanaba Pia-Amfo. Since inception, 170 laptops have been distributed, with 200 more to be distributed this year. The 100,000 cedis worth of support from the Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Company is to enable the University of Ghana purchase more laptops to digitize its lecture halls. The managing director of BOST said the company will continue to support organizations in its operational areas.
We are here to support the program and also hear about the other legs of the program, where if we, God willing, if we have the might and we make more profits, we will be willing to assist.
Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Nanaba Piamtho, said the move will position the university as a leading learning facility.
And students, but uptake was minimal, and then COVID came and it forced all of us to go online. We tried very hard, but still we had 10% of our students who could not participate in the online teaching and learning program when we had to shut down.
This is Midday Live. We'll be back with sports. Do stay.
Date Rush Pool Party. Loading.
King Kong. Be a gas.
Yeah. Abdi Yasser.
I wanna live with you. I can't see reason why I can't let go. You never know.
It's that time on Date Rush again, when we take the Date Rush experience a notch higher. Who gets to go on a date and perform some humanitarian works with his or her celebrity?
Medically, is advised to always laugh, so your real age doesn't show on your face. So the man I brought home have come to reduce your age.
That's all.
Yaro don't try. Mommy got shot. I be you know the vibe. I'm hurt.
Yes, okay, cool. All right. Which baby? Which baby?
It's the Date Rush Celebrity episode, showing this Sunday at 8 p.m. Don't miss it.
Date Rush is sponsored by
Rush Energy Drink,
Airtel Tigo, Sense Body Spray,
Duffy's Health and Beauty, Pepsodent Herbal,
Geisha,
Obuasi Bitters,
Remy Spices, Give Us Herbal Mixture,
Carnival Strawberry, Forever Clear, Acne Control Range and Multi-Fruit Set,
Deluxy Acrylic Paint,
Star,
Dano Milk,
Lawson.
Good afternoon. It's time for sports here on Midday Live. My name is Kelvin Osuanta, and Karim Benzema will leave Real Madrid this summer after 14 years in the Spanish capital to join Saudi Arabian side Al Ittihad. The 35 side that referred to the striker as a fundamental player in this golden age of our history and as one of the club's greatest legends. Madrid also announced that they will hold a tribute and farewell to the club captain in the city on Tuesday to honor his glittering spell with the club.
Start this game in La Catedral, and the Frenchman gets back to his best by hitting the target against Athletic Club.
This is just outstanding in every conceivable way. His imagination, his touch, his quick feet, his calmness to apply the finishing touch.
Benzema is away, big chance for Real Madrid. Benzema!
While staying in Europe, but to England and Manchester City remain on course for a treble after Ilkay Gundogan scored twice to give them victory over Manchester United in the FA Cup final at the Wembley.
It is the 190th Manchester derby. Two of those have been FA Cup semi-finals. This is the first time they have ever met in a final. Lindelof with the header and the shot, and the fastest goal ever in an FA Cup final is fired in by Ilkay Gundogan. Barely 15 seconds. shatters the record of Louis Saha in 2009 for Everton. Immediate history in spectacular fashion in the FA Cup final. Bruno Fernandes looking for Wan-Bissaka. Yeah, they're asking the question. Bruno Fernandes is right in the face of the referee, Paul Tierney. Possible handball.
Well, there's no doubt his arm is up as soon as Wan-Bissaka heads it.
It's a penalty. And Manchester United have that potential lifeline. It's Bruno Fernandes. And thanks to a very modern VAR lifeline, Manchester United, improbably, are level in the FA Cup final. So De Bruyne has picked himself up. And it's towards Gundogan, and it's crept in, nowhere near as cleanly as the first one. Different foot, same outcome, City back in front.
But somehow it's just crept its way in. It bounced over the knee of Varane, and De Gea thinking that it would be blocked. And it wasn't. They're struggling to get across. Yes, he gets a hand to it, but it's practically in the net by then.
Well, to another cup final, this time around in Kumasi, and goalkeeper Afia Menyako emerged the hero on Saturday evening, delivering a stunning performance as Ghana defeated arch rivals Nigeria in a thrilling penalty shootout to claim the championship title in the inaugural WAFU Zone B Under-20 Girls Cup of Nations.
It's a very good delivery, Kamfodo Wusu, and it's a penalty to the Ghanaians. So Ibechi has the second opportunity to save, but once again the same spot, Stella Nyamiche does it in a tantalizing manner for the Ghanaians, and that takes her tally to 4 goals. The yellow for Nigeria, and Nigeria get the chance to equalize, and they do. 1-1 is the scoreline. Flourish. Sebastian would be the happiest of all the Nigerian players. She's to show that there's responsibility for the Ghanaians. She does. Ghana is already leading. Chidima, Afi says. And if Esther doesn't score, that means Ingbechi Adlin of Delta Queens, Helen fails to score for the Falconets of Nigeria. Messi against Afia Benyaku. She Adeline against Mariam Ponsa, and she scores. Ghana are the inaugural champions of the WAFU Under-20 U Girls Cup. In the long run, we take solace in the fact that they lost gallantly.
Now to the Ghana Premier League, and Asante Kotoko boosted their hopes of a top 4 finish with a hard-fought 1-0 victory over Accra Lions on Saturday evening. The decisive goal came through Solomon Safu-Taylor.
Referee Sharaf Diop takes a look at his watch, and Bassett gets us going for this evening's fixture. It's Accra Lions up against Asante Kotoko. Chance for Kotoko, and Morrison has blasted wide. Boydus crossing, Infergus header onto the crossbar. Safu-Taylor heads it in, and Asante Kotoko scores the first goal here at the Accra Sports Stadium. Infergus was denied by the crossbar, but Safu-Taylor was at the right.
Well, that will be all for sports this afternoon here on Midday Live. My name is Kelvin Olson. Don't forget to join us on 3FM for Sports Ultras at 6 p.m.
Let's do entertainment news now. And lovely couple Ali and Ruth have been booted out of the Perfect Match Extra reality show. On the eviction night, Jato and Sandra were saved from elimination, securing their continued presence in the reality house. Now here are some highlights of the eviction show.
Ali and Ruth, Jato and Sandra. Now, one of these couples may go home tonight. You are entertaining, you brought drama, and you truly kept us glued to our seats. Jato and Sandra. It's time for you to go back into the Perfect Match Extra house. And give us more drama because Ali and Ruth are going home. So Ali and Ruth have their time in the Perfect Match Extra house has come to an end. Ali and Ruth, this is the final time to...
Just a competition and we are all nominated each couple, so it's normal. This shouldn't be end of our life.
I know.
More things ahead, so I think it's normal. Sure.
Say your goodbyes.
Well, upon Ali and Ruth's eviction, a new couple have been introduced to the Perfect Match Extra reality show, and already they're promising drama.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have loose cannons in the house. Welcome our new housemaids, Bibi and Sedo.
Once upon a time, a little longer. Things have changed, things are getting better. Hold on, how I am makes you super, super. Say, can't you see me?
Welcome to Perfect Match Extra.
Thank you.
What can we expect from you?
Drama.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay. We like it. If you were not paired with Sedem, who would you think you might be with?
I think I'll pick Kodak.
Sedem.
And that's all for entertainment. Let's do some international news now. Chinese Defense Minister Li Shangfu has said Beijing seeks dialogue over confrontation with the United Nations or United States warning that any conflict between the two nations would bring unbearable disaster for the world. Speaking at Asia's top security summit, the Shangri-La Dialogue, Li said on Sunday that the world was big enough for China and the U.S. to grow together. Li, who was named Defense Minister in March, said China and the U.S. have different systems and are different in many ways. And that's all for Midday Live here on TV3. My name is Judith Awache Tando. Do stay tuned for the rest of our programs.
This program is rated U. It contains no scene, action, or dialogue that could be construed as disturbing, harmful, or offensive. It is suitable for all ages.
Good evening and welcome to the final episode of the Ghana Women Awards Diaries right here